Welcome to Wellan Energy Systems. We collar and harness the technology based on quantum physics to stop problems in water-bearing systems. Most water-bearing systems suffer from rust, corrosion, limescale, biofilm, crude oil impurities like paraffin wax, or other microbiological problems like algae, bacteria, and other fauna in geothermal wells. As shown in the picture, Wellan collars are installed on feed pipes in any water-bearing system. Wellan is at the cutting edge of quantum physics. Currently, Wellan has thousands of installations all over the world with its proprietary oscillation technology. Wellan Energy provides the ultimate prevention and elimination of all problems in your water-bearing system. This section introduces the three major methods used in the industry for the elimination of problems in water systems. The first one shown in the picture is the chemical treatment. For example, they are used in boilers, cooling towers, heat exchangers, cooling loops, and other systems. Chemicals do not spread uniformly. They degrade quickly and require regular replenishment, which is a major cost factor. When corrosion and limescale are removed using mechanical methods like power washing, grinding, or blasting, oxidation starts immediately on clean surfaces upon coming in contact with moisture. Mechanical cleaning is temporary and requires skilled contractors and is not cost-effective. In spite of all conventional treatments, equipment does deteriorate and break down. Replacement costs of pipes, tanks, and pumps can mean budgetary expenses, plus downtime, labor costs, and loss of profitability. Good maintenance of such equipment should be a high priority. However, there is good news from Wellan Energy Systems. Instead of curing the symptoms, Wellan collars provide protection at the root of the problem. Wellan emits oscillation, which effectively breaks down scale and prevents further oxidation, scale, and microbiological deposits from forming, all without the high and repetitive cost of conventional treatment, and going green at the same time. What are these oscillations? And how does Wellan technology work? And more importantly, how does Wellan harness the power of these oscillations to change the properties of atoms and molecules that cause oxidation, corrosion, limescale, and other microbiological problems? Oscillations are vibrations or waves emitted by all atoms and molecules. Each element in the universe has its own specific natural oscillation. No two oscillations are the same. Synonymous to fingerprints or snowflakes. Pictured here is a rust molecule emitting its own oscillation. If these oscillations are altered, corrupted, interfered, overlaid, or made inert, the whole rust molecule will collapse. This is the crux of Wellan technology. Oscillations are periodic displays of periodic motion. The basic properties of oscillations are wavelength and amplitude. Now, here comes the Wellan technology in action. It is very important to note that if this basic oscillation of rust, shown as the green line in the picture, is altered either by interference or overlapping, the physical properties of the molecule will change. For example, the green represents the natural rust oscillation, and blue represents the oscillations emitted by the Wellan collar. It is produced at the same amplitude and wavelength and mathematically opposite and phase delayed at 180 degrees. This is called interference. The green and the blue being equal and opposite. The red line represents the final result, thus changing the property of the rust molecule, causing it to disintegrate. A good example of equal and opposite is how sound waves can be canceled by an equal and opposite wavelength. Oscillations at quantum level work in the same manner. Now, let's take a look at another way in which Wellan technology works by a method called overlaying. Overlaying is similar to playing two musical notes at the same time to produce a third different note. In this example, the green represents natural oscillations of calcium deposits. The blue line represents the active oscillation generated by the Wellan collar, and the red line represents the final oscillation, thus changing the physical properties of the limescale. This is another method by which the natural oscillations can be altered, corrupted, or inerted. To summarize, the red results from adding the blue and the green. Since the blue and green pass through x-axis at the same point and the peaks are in the same direction, the resultant oscillation created is altered. When equal and opposite waves meet, they cancel each other out. and an inert stage is created whereby the rust molecule stops emitting its oscillations and collapses. Further, the Wellan oscillations target the individual atoms of the collapsed molecule to keep them from reconstructing. Wellan has isolated, mapped, and stored the molecular oscillation of various pollutants like rust, limescale, biofilms, and more. This is done via our proprietary computer software and equipment. Our technology is not based on using fields created by electric coils or magnets. Based on these oscillations, we have created new oscillations. The aim is to influence the original oscillations by new, equal, and opposite oscillations, thus causing the breakdown of the original molecule, or to cause the atoms to turn into an inert state, whereby it will not recognize the other atoms to form deposits, as in the case of rust. After recording various corrosion-causing oscillations, Wellan creates new active oscillations, which are used for altering the properties of these natural molecules. These active oscillations are scientifically based on the original natural oscillations. These are programmed into the Wellan collar using proprietary technology, as shown in the picture. Once installed on the feed pipe, the Wellan collars immediately start emitting the oscillations into the water. As a result of the water flow, the oscillations are carried into the entire water system, including dead legs. One of the most amazing features of our system is that the oscillations travel much further after the flow of water. Our technology does not change the property of water, as the active oscillations targets only the specific atoms and molecules in the water. Thus, we have used water as an ally. The target is rust, scale, calcium deposits, and other pollutants, but not the water itself. Water does not change. Wellan collars can be installed in all kinds of pipes, including metal, rubber, PVC, as well as any alloy. One Wellan collar is sufficient for industrial biological problems and all flow rates and velocities. One ring does it all. Easy installation. The only tool needed is a hex key supplied with each Wellan collar. Wellan can manufacture custom sizes as well as collars for specific problems encountered by customers. We also have the capability of manufacturing custom sizes and custom specifications as per customer request and problems encountered. For example, we can manufacture a specific ring for a special situation where the customer's major problems are a result of some specific element in nature. Wellan collars are available in various sizes from 5 inches to 72 inches. Wellan collars can be used on steam boilers and condensate systems, air conditioning units, cooling towers, different kinds of pumps and tanks, piping systems, sprinkler systems, oil and water separators. Wellan collars have been used on ships for sanitary systems, evaporators, drinking water, heat exchangers, boilers, and economizers. In some cases, brown or green water is caused by iron bacteria, excessive iron and copper in the water. Untreated oil contains various impurities and paraffin wax. Wellan collars have been used in the oil industry to help separate such impurities during oil extraction, storage, and distribution. Wellan has thousands of successful applications all over the world. Here are a few specific examples of Wellan collars used in the USA and all over the world. This is a picture taken by a special camera. The picture shows a decrease in biofilm in a geothermal injection well at the Brooklyn Children's Museum. This result was achieved in only 4 weeks. The Con Edison building has gone fully green with the help of Wellan technology. Con Edison has 17 Wellan collars with an average size of 18 inches each. These collars have been in use since 2010, and in their own words, Wellan has performed exactly as we were told. It would have cost us millions of dollars to clean our pipelines. The savings in chemical treatments as well is tremendous. The Thurgood Marshall Courthouse, another landmark building in Manhattan, New York City, has been using Wellan collars since 2007. The Museum of New York City in Manhattan has 3 Wellan collars, 2 on their cooling towers and 1 on the condensate line. An example of how rust has been removed within 4 weeks of installation of the Wellan collar at the Brooklyn Children's Museum. An old boiler that was to be retired in the Bronx increased its life by about 7 years after the Wellan collar was installed. The picture shows how rust and biofilm have been reduced considerably. Not only that the existing deposits were removed, but no new deposits were experienced. The boiler was only retired for a more efficient one. The HBO building in New York City had a serious situation whereby the biofilm was responsible for clogging the chill water line and causing a foul odor. Existing deposits were removed, no new growth was seen, and the bad odor was a thing of the past. Rust removal is clearly visible on these strainers in just 30 days. The clogging of strainers was becoming a serious problem at this facility in Brooklyn. In this lab test, rust and clogging was removed by Wellan oscillations in a chill water line section. This picture shows water tests of water in a chill water line. A reduction in iron content is clearly visible in the samples. Oxidation and clogging was cleared in a 30-day period at Crompton Industries. In 60 days, all clogging disintegrated with no trace. In this lab test, rust and clogging was removed by Wellan oscillations in a chill water line section. A 36-inch Wellan collar installed on the main supply line at a brewery in China. Clogged pipe opens after installation of Wellan collar in Germany. Saved $20,000 in replumbing line expenses. No more brown water. 1-inch Wellan collar has stopped algae and other stuff that sticks to the sides of a pool at the Hampton Inn. We were skeptical. Now we recommend it. Ramada Inn Management. I called it snake oil, but 1 year later, all the loose rust was laying on the floor of my steam boiler. Mark Lovinger, Black Gold Energy. Here, a clear contrast is visible in pictures supplied by the customer showing Wellan results far superior to sulfamic acid chemical treatment. Here's a picture of the tubes of a steam boiler after 4 years of Wellan collars. This commercial laundry installed a Wellan collar in 2007 and has not had to clean their boiler since. They have saved $3,500 each year, normal expense for annual cleaning.
Hi, my name is Bob Canidi, and I own BNC Laundry, which is a commercial laundry. This here is a 50-pound high-pressure boiler that we used to clean every year, finding scale as large as this. Since 2007, we've been using the Wellan ring. The boiler has kept clean all these years. There's no cleaning, there's no chemical whatsoever. We have no scale in 5 years. I would highly recommend the Wellan ring for anyone that wants to go through green.
The best part of Wellan technology is that the industry can go green without heavy initial investment. The commercial laundry saved almost 3 times the investment in the ring in the first year. Going Wellan is going green. Thank you for your time.